So, what if dreams aren't just dreams? What if they're memories? I've had many recurring dreams of flying, and not with wings on my back and my arms, like you see in angel art, but with arms that actually were wings, one seamless form. And for the longest time, I thought everyone dreamed this way. It wasn't until my best friend shared her own flying dreams that I realized that the wings in her dreams were different. They were individuated, they were separate from her arms. And that was the moment that I realized not everyone carries the same memories. And that's the first key. Stop assuming that your dream experiences are universal, they are coded to your unique soul lineage. So many times I would dream that I was flying and I would raise my arms, which were my wings that carried me. And many other times I would try to fly, but I would be stuck on the ground, trying and trying to raise my body into the air. Sometimes I would begin to be able to do that, and many times I would be stuck. And so I didn't realize that this was actually bringing me back to past lives where I was a being that had wings and I flew. And that was actually a very interesting um, download that I had while I was meditating deeply and in the middle of going through a very, very strong detox. So, dreams as past life memories. Many dreams are symbolic. Yes, no denying that. But some are also direct bleed through of our memories, our oversoul identities. When you dream of a body that you've never had in this particular life, when you have wings or tails or glowing skin, you're a different gender or a different species, these are often morphogenetic memory flashbacks. And so, just like I dream with unindividuated wings, older than human, split into arms and wings, many of you may dream of other forms that your consciousness has worn. Now, for me, when I have considered all of this and when I apply it through guardian teachings, this is like the three unindividuated chakras before the more densified, individuated seven primary chakras. So the more and more dense we become in the body, the more and more connected and identifying with the materialism of our physical anchor, the the more dense we become, the more individuated we become. And that's part of our lesson and coming here with Earth is to be able to learn all the lessons and to experience what it feels like to be fully individuated. Because in terms of our soul's growth, each time we incarnate and we live through another lifetime, our soul becomes more individuated. And so that's our consciousness that is actually growing and expanding, being able to integrate all of the individuation that we take on. And so that's really our soul's progression through the cosmos, through the the great wheel of time. That's what we're here to do. So the arms as wings, unindividuated, is a sign that this is a much older incarnation that I'm bringing myself back into and remembering. Dreams give us themes that are past life memories, and some common themes that people often dismiss as just dreams, but can actually be an oversoul bleed through, are flight or otherworldly travel, such as, and not just wings, but also floating or ships, being on ships, portals, which can indicate past identity forms, Andromedan, Syrian, Avian, Seraphim, which is what my dreams bring me back to. Ancient landscapes, temples, crystalline cities, starry skies without the moon, pre-fall Earth templates, living in water, different bodies. So being male if you're female now, or animal human hybrids, even a light being or a glowing crystalline form. Color and sound. So dreaming in radiant color or hearing tones that vibrate your whole body. Not everyone dreams in color. In fact, research has shown that only a portion of the population does. And dreaming in vivid color indicates an activated DNA strand template. And so I always assumed that everyone dreamed in color because I dream in color, but I've learned that that is not the case. So again, really consider your dreams. What are the nuances that are specific to you? And think about that. And don't assume that everyone else has the same experience. Dreams of collective battles or cataclysms. These can be memories of planetary events, timeline collapses, grid wars. What are the esoteric teachings in our dreams? Dreams are not just the brain coming up with imagination. That's the materialist reductionist thinking that we've been taught, that our imagination is something that we just made up. It doesn't come from anywhere. That's not true at all. And dreams, like our imagination, are actually dimensional bleed-throughs. This is where our consciousness shifts frequencies while the body is in a state of either deep relaxation, trance, or sleep, which is very deep relaxation. And this is why dream states can feel more real than waking ones, because you're actually operating from higher harmonic universe dimensions of your oversoul or your soul layers without the filters of that first density three-dimensional mind. And some dream states are also teaching halls, such as where oversoul family guides us, where we connect with guardians, where we connect with the Rishi councils. Because again, our waking ego is sleeping, and this allows the access. And so how do we use our dreams consciously? Well, step one is recall your dreams. And before bed, set your intention that you will remember what serves you, and keep a notebook or a recorder right beside your bed. And as soon as you wake, write down or speak the dreams immediately before your rational mind erases it. And you will find that the more that you do this, the more you will recall. Also work on detoxifying your pineal gland. And I've talked about this before, the physical vessel and the clarity that you have within your entire endocrine system, most specifically your pineal gland, which gets so easily clogged with pharmaceuticals and with chemicals. You have to consciously work and take mechanical steps to detox and to clear all of those distortions and calcifications. And so that's very important. But begin looking for pattern recognition. So look for recurring landscapes, look for recurring themes, recurring feelings, recurring bodies, recurring flying. And ask yourself, all right, so what kind of body was I in? And what was I doing? How was I moving? What else was there with you? So often we find ourselves really focus on our own experience and we don't necessarily take in what's around us. And so it's a very good lesson to begin to explore and to really feel into what was going on around when I was doing that flying or whatever else it was. And recognize that if you dream repeatedly of being a winged being, for instance, or walking crystalline hallways, it's not random, but it's actually awakening memory connected to your lineage. So differentiate symbol versus memory. And so if a dream is wildly symbolic, like snakes turn into clocks or doors melt, etc., very often that is your subconscious that's processing, right? However, if the dream is consistent and it's repeating and it is coherent in body and landscape, that is memory, like the flying. And then finally, integrate. So journal all of the observations that come up and really allow yourself to explore and reflect through writing. And do this if you can by actually physical writing with your hand rather than typing, because the act of using your hand and your writing to put down something on paper utilizes different parts of the brain than as what utilizes typing. And so this is very, very helpful to really access what's buried in your subconscious to let it flow. That's part of the integration. And ask yourself, how does this memory help me? Like, is there a way that I can take the message that I'm receiving by these dreams and bring it into my life today? And use it to reclaim strength, reclaim, gifts that you have, not to escape this life, but instead to bring back the pieces of yourself that would serve you here in this lifetime. And so the next time you wake up from a dream that feels more real than real, don't just dismiss it, but really explore it and ask yourself, could this be a memory? Write it down, track it. And you may find that you're piecing together your own cosmic history, one dream at a time. Because dreams are not just illusions of the night, they are windows into who you've always been. And when you honor them, you begin to awaken your eternal memory. And that, my friends, is the first step.